AI versus creativity, the great PR debate. Can AI truly transform PR, or is it just stealing the spotlight? This is where our two podcast hosts kick off their animated debate. They discuss how AI tools revolutionize public relations by tailoring messages, predicting audience behavior, and managing crises. But at what ethical cost? As our hosts unpack real-world legal battles involving AI, they tackle the big question: how far can AI go without crossing intellectual property boundaries? They explore cases like music lyric replication and the implications for PR storytelling. The discussion shifts to controversies like AI-crafted PR campaigns and their authenticity. Is AI solving problems or amplifying them? Join the debate. Drop your thoughts below, or share this podcast to spark more conversations. Together, let's shape AI's future in PR.
Hey there, deep divers. AI is like everywhere these days, right?
It really is.
But things get kind of interesting, or I guess kind of complicated when AI starts creating stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like imagine AI making art or music or even writing movie scripts.
Whoa.
Makes you wonder, like, where does copyright law even, like, begin?
Right.
And is fair use even, like, a thing anymore?
It's a good question.
So we're going to dive into those kind of murky legal waters today, you know, to understand how AI and copyright are, like, clashing.
We are.
And more importantly, what all of this means for your creative work.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. We're trying to figure out how laws written, like, centuries ago can be applied to a technology that's changing faster than we can keep up with.
So let's start with the basics, right?
Sure.
For someone like me who's, like, not a lawyer, break down what fair use actually means.
Okay, so fair use is kind of like an ant pole in copyright law.
Okay.
It lets you use copyrighted material without having to get permission from the owner.
Oh, okay.
But only for very specific reasons.
Got it.
Like things like commentary,
Yeah.
criticism, or news reporting, or even, parodies.
Yeah,
Like if you're a film critic
right.
and you want to, break down a scene in a movie,
Okay.
you might use a short clip from that movie in your review.
Right.
That would be considered fair use.
Okay, got it. So there are rules.
There are definitely rules.
It's not just like a free pass to use anything you want.
No, not at all.
But then, like, how do you decide if something actually falls under fair use?
Right.
It seems pretty subjective.
It is subjective, and that's where things get tricky.
Yeah.
Courts use a bunch of different factors to decide, but the big one is transformative use.
Okay.
Basically, they look at how much a new work is actually changing the original work.
Right.
Like, is it just a copy?
Yeah.
Or is it, like, doing something new and different with the source material?
Right.
Like, is it transformative?
That transformative use idea is what really, like, caught my attention.
Yeah.
Remember that movie, The Brutalist?
Oh, yeah, I do.
It used AI to, like, tweak Adrien Brody's accent, and it sparked a huge controversy.
It did. It caused a lot of debate.
People were arguing about whether it was even ethical, like, to do that.
Right, and the Academy Awards, they even thought about changing their rules because of it,
Yeah.
which is pretty wild.
It really makes you think.
It does.
Like, could AI end up, like, reshaping the whole film industry?
Yeah,
And even affect, like, how you create your own work?
it's definitely a possibility.
And that one case is just, like, the tip of the iceberg, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There are lawsuits, like, popping up left and right against, like, these big AI companies like ChatGPT and Meta.
Mm-hmm.
And at the heart of all these legal battles is this question.
Okay.
Can using copyrighted material to, like, train an AI model ever really be considered fair use?
That's the big question.
Speaking of lawsuits, the music industry is facing its own set of challenges with this whole AI thing.
Definitely.
Didn't music publishers sue Anthropic over, like, this very issue?
Yes, they did. And it involves some really, really popular songs, too.
Like what?
Like Roar by Katy Perry and I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
Wow.
Songs everyone knows.
Yeah, songs everybody knows.
For sure.
So what happened?
Well, the music publishers claimed that Anthropic's AI was, like, straight up copying lyrics from those songs.
Oh, wow.
And then using them to write new songs.
Oh, wow.
So it, like, sounded like a potential copyright nightmare for anyone creating music.
So how did it all play out?
So Anthropic ended up settling,
Okay.
and they agreed to put some, like, safeguards in place to prevent their AI from, directly copying lyrics.
Okay.
But that doesn't really, solve the bigger question here.
Yeah.
Is it inherently infringing to use copyrighted material to train an AI, even if it doesn't copy things word for word?
Right.
It's like we're still in uncharted territory here.
So are there any legal precedents out there that might, like, offer some clues about how all of this will play out? Like any cases that we can look to for guidance?
Well, there's a case called Thomson Reuters v. Ross Intelligence.
Okay.
That might give us some insight.
Okay.
Ross Intelligence, they built an AI search engine for legal research.
Okay.
The problem was it was scraping legal summaries from a database that was owned by Thomson Reuters.
So another AI platform just grabbing information from existing content?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is there, like, a pattern emerging here?
Well, the court actually ruled against Ross Intelligence in that case.
Oh, wow.
They said that just scraping those summaries wasn't transformative enough to be considered fair use.
Interesting.
So this could be a sign of how future AI copyright cases might be decided.
Yeah.
But it's still early to tell for sure.
This is definitely a, like, rapidly evolving area of law.
For sure.
With all these individual lawsuits popping up, are governing bodies doing anything to, like, address the AI explosion and its impact on copyright?
They are. The Copyright Office has actually taken a pretty clear stance.
Okay.
They believe that our current intellectual property laws need to be updated
Uh-huh.
to deal with all of this AI-generated content.
Okay.
They've even suggested creating new legislation
Uh-huh.
specifically designed to protect people from unauthorized digital replicas of their work
Wow.
and to, like, encourage online platforms to remove those replicas.
That's interesting. So they're essentially saying current laws aren't, like, equipped to handle all of the new challenges presented by AI.
Exactly.
Wow.
They're trying to, like, get ahead of the curve, which is, good news for creators.
That's great.
But what does all of this actually mean for someone, like you?
Yeah.
Someone creating original work in this, like, AI-driven world.
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
It feels like we're all trying to figure this out in real time.
The Copyright Office has also weighed in on AI-assisted work that's created by humans, but with the help of AI.
Okay. Yeah.
And they've stated that work should have the same copyright protections as any other work created by a human.
Gotcha.
So they're, like, making a distinction
Yeah.
between something that's generated solely by AI
Right.
and something where AI is just a tool that's being used by a human creator
Right.
to make something new.
So basically, if you're using AI as a tool to, like, help you create, your work is still protected.
Exactly.
But if AI creates something all on its own,
Right.
then things get a lot more complicated.
Much more complicated.
That's a good way to memorize it. It really highlights how important it is for creators to, like, really understand where AI fits into their creative process, right?
Yes,
And how that might affect their copyright protections.
definitely.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be honest, this whole AI thing can feel pretty overwhelming for someone just trying to, make cool stuff. It's like the rules are constantly changing. What can creators do, like, right now to protect their work in this crazy world of AI?
Well, you're right. It is evolving so quickly. But a lot of the best practices are things that creators should already be doing anyway.
Okay.
It all comes down to documentation. Keeping really detailed records of your whole creative process is absolutely crucial.
Okay.
I'm talking everything from your initial, like, sketches or your brainstorming notes to your final drafts or, recordings.
So, like, creating a paper trail for your creative process.
Exactly. If there's ever a question about authorship, having that detailed record can really be your saving grace.
Right.
It can help prove that you are the one who came up with the idea and put in the work.
That's great advice. Any other tips for, like, navigating this new landscape?
Yeah, another thing to be really careful about is what you're putting out there online.
Okay.
The internet is like a massive training ground for AI.
Right.
So be mindful about how you're sharing your work. Think about using watermarks or, like, other protective measures if you're going to post something online.
So be strategic with your online presence. Don't just, like, throw your work out there without thinking about how it might be used by AI.
Yeah.
You need to have some safeguards in place.
Exactly. And don't forget, there are a lot of resources out there specifically designed to help creators, protect their work in the age of AI.
Okay.
There are organizations and platforms that offer advice, tools, and even, like, legal support.
That's awesome.
So do your research and try to connect with those resources. They're out there.
It's really interesting to think about how this all, like, relates back to the whole point of copyright in the first place.
Right.
Copyright was created to encourage creativity by giving creators control over their work, right?
Yeah.
But now, with AI being able to create things that, seem original, it's like we have to rethink how copyright applies.
It's a fascinating challenge, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a paradox.
Okay.
On the one hand, AI has the potential to democratize creativity. you know.
Yeah.
It can give people access to tools and resources that, like, used to be only available to professionals.
Right.
But on the other hand, it raises some really tough questions about the value of human creativity
Yeah.
and the potential for that creativity to be, exploited.
It's almost like we're asking ourselves what makes human creativity special or unique.
Right.
If a machine can replicate it, does that mean human creativity is like less valuable?
That's a question philosophers have been grappling with forever,
Yeah.
but now it's taking on a whole new dimension with AI.
Right.
Personally, I believe that human creativity will always have something special,
Okay.
something that AI just can't replicate.
Yeah.
It's about more than just the final product,
Right.
It's about the entire creative journey,
Yeah.
the intentions behind the work,
Uh-huh.
the emotional connection,
Right.
even like the imperfections that make us human.
I love that perspective. It's about like the soul behind the creation, the human element that AI just can't grasp.
Exactly.
At least not yet.
And I think those human elements, those are what make art so powerful
Yeah.
and so meaningful to us.
Right.
It's the vulnerability, the raw emotion, the imperfections, the unique blends of experiences and influences that like shape each artist's voice.
Yeah.
Those are the things that resonate with people, create connections, spark conversations, and, inspire new ideas.
So in a way, AI is pushing us to like dig deeper,
Yeah,
to explore the core of our own creativity and really discover what truly makes us unique as artists.
I think that's a really insightful way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's also an incredible opportunity, to grow,
Mm-hmm.
to push boundaries, to create art that's even more meaningful and, more human than ever before.
This conversation has been so insightful. We've covered so much ground, from the legal definitions to these huge philosophical questions about the nature of creativity itself.
We have.
But for me, the biggest takeaway is this.
Okay.
We're all like part of shaping how this all plays out. AI is here to stay, and it's up to us to figure out how we want to, coexist with it,
Yeah.
how we can use it responsibly
Right.
to like enhance our own creative potential
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that it doesn't, diminish the value of human expression.
I couldn't agree more. We're like writing the rules of this new world as we go.
Yeah.
And that's a responsibility we all need to take seriously.
So to all you deep divers out there creating amazing things,
Yes.
remember to stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, stay true to your unique voice. The
Absolutely.
future of art is like in your hands.
It is.
We can't wait to see what you create.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's a wrap on this deep dive into AI and copyright. Thanks for joining us, and keep those creative sparks flying.